Welcome to the Garden of Favor podcast, where we are committed to cultivating lives and businesses God's way. Because when we do, we see the evidence of His favor. I'm warning you now, be prepared. You might cry a little bit, and you might be tempted to shout a couple yeses and amens as we ask ourselves the tough questions and get honest with God about what He wants to do in us and through us for the kingdom. Hey, sister friend, I'm Heather, teacher turned six-figure corporate exec, turned top 1% network marketer, turned dream job, living my best life as a mindset strategist and kingdom blueprints coach for Christian entrepreneurs. I believe your life is like a garden, and your business plays a major role in fulfilling your purpose and calling. Are you ready to get your mindset and heart set in sync with the Father so you can bloom into all He's created you to be? Then let's grow, girl. Hey friends, welcome to the show. I am so excited. Today, I told y'all I was going to start bringing more friends onto the show because, goodness, I spent the whole first year of the podcast really just pouring out my heart. And so as I have connected with so many incredible, amazing sisters who have a story to tell, who have gifts and talents to share with the world, I can't help but not want to share them with you. And so today I am inviting my client turned friend, sister Kari Olson, to the show. Kari is a Christian mindset and business strategist. She helps Christian coaches create and sell easy yes programs to their dream clients. She's a wife, she's a mother of 3 teens, and she is addicted to coffee and travel. She is a 10-year cancer survivor who loves doing missions around the world and adventures like skydiving, surfing, and scuba diving. Kari, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Heather. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. I loved having the opportunity to get to know you better and to spend more time with you. And I love what you do as a Christian mindset and business strategist. Can you tell the women listening, like, how did you get to where you are? How did you get to that?
Oh my goodness. This is a long and windy journey that God led me through. But yeah, after a diagnosis of cancer with 3 young kids, I had a mission to help others. I felt like God had led me through that experience for a reason. So I got a health coaching certification. I was a cancer coach for other young moms dealing with the same thing for 3 years, until He led me away from that, only because it was not working out. My own money mindset and the way that I dealt with coaching, I had a heart to serve these women. And yet I would get on discovery calls and they would be like, I would love to do this, but I don't have the money. And I was like, it's okay. Like, let's just start. I want to help you. You know, who was I to not, want to serve them after going through something like that? And so for 3 years, I did that. In addition to my full-time job, I didn't make a penny. I just kept getting referrals. Oh, there's this great cancer coach, and got to kind of be known as the coach that worked for free. And finally, it was just too much. I was putting in way too much time and money and energy and effort into something that, wasn't serving me or my kids as a single mom. And so he just said, Kari, stop. We've got to work on some things here before I let you keep going with this. So
okay, that is so good. And you brought up a buzzword, right? Money mindset, right? Money mindset in the Christian circle. We were actually just talking about this a little bit before we started recording, that there seems to be in this Christian circle, women who love Jesus, that there's that servant heart, right? They want to serve, they want to help people. And at the same time, they have ambitions and goals and dreams and these God-sized dreams that people have. But somewhere along the way, the money mindset is something that holds, I think it holds all of us back at some point. Tell us a little bit about can you think of like a revelation that you had with money mindset?
Yeah, I think it was so much I made it about me. Well, who am I to do this? I'm not an expert. I wanted to then teach on money mindset, but I'm not a millionaire, but I'm not. And it was all those things that I just kept swirling in my head, lies from the enemy. I was focusing on that, not on the truth of who God created me to be. And knowing that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I don't want to do it in my own confidence, because then I wouldn't be including him. And so it was really just working out my faith and my trust in him, surrendering all my silly thoughts, laying them down at his feet and being like, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, I'll do it. Let's do it together though.
So good. And you said one of the key words, right? So one of the things that we talk about in the Made to Flow Academy is the 3 basic human needs, which is to feel loved, to feel safe, and to feel worthy. And one of those in that safety, it's a trust factor. Do we trust God with either what he's promised us or what we think, or just with everything, whether that's our physical safety, our financial safety, our relational safety, our brains, like we want to stay safe. That's our human nature. But that trust. And so what is something that you can share with the audience about that helped you strengthen your trust in God? Because it's not like you became a millionaire overnight or you had this crazy, successful 6-figure business overnight. So it's kind of like in that waiting, that between the promise and the waiting and then the trusting, what is something that you do or that you practice that helps you strengthen your trust?
Well, I learned so much from you, Heather, working with you. This was just fascinating for me because, yes, oh my gosh, I love him with all my heart. I want to believe every word and promise in the Bible. And sometimes it was just kind of hard embodying that. How do you put that into practice? And so it started with the affirmations in the morning, the, mind movies and mantras and, reprogramming, the truths of what he says, so you taught us, as soon as you wake up, right before you go to bed, what can you be telling your brain? And so that was really huge. But then also another exercise that I did in your program is, the 7 layers deep of why. And this one was just mind blowing for me. And, understanding why you're doing what you're doing. And actually, in the end, led me to quit my job at the end of August while in your program, even though, logically, to me, it was my husband and I actually had an agreement that when I'm making, 10-figure months for 3 months consecutively, we're going to be ready. And then, but God doesn't work that way. He's not like, okay, let's line everything up perfectly and have it be all logical. And, at the end of that exercise, I was like, okay, if I don't step into the calling that he's given me, I will be disobedient. And that was the last thing I wanted. And so it's just taking that leap of faith sometime, having, faith over fear. Why am I making this decision? What are the layers underneath it all?
Okay, wait, back up. So there's so many women I know who are miserable in their job. And I don't even know if you were miserable in your job. You just knew God was calling you to something else, right? And you worked in the school for so long. It becomes comfortable, right? It's like what we know becomes comfortable and then that just is safe. And so oftentimes we stay there. So I know there's someone listening to this they know God has given them a calling on their life and they feel stuck where they are because maybe it's financially how that doesn't make sense. And you said something really good about logic, right? Logic, in our soul, we wants to make sense of things and God doesn't always make sense. And you taking that leap, how did it make you feel when you took that leap, not knowing exactly how this was going to all turn out, but yet knowing God was calling you to this? Like, where are you today? Because, right, there's a woman that's she's maybe the night before you finally resign or the night before, like, where are you today? Can you give her some insight and hope as to what it's like to take that leap of faith?
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I wake up just knowing that this is exactly what I am meant to be doing. I am fulfilled. I am walking in the plan and the purpose that he has for me, even when it didn't make sense, with bank accounts and insurance and all these situations that I'm like, okay, we got to figure this out first. But no, it's like just making that decision. If you are calling me to this, I just need to say yes. And he will provide. He will figure out. And it's only deepened my relationship with him, my faith, my trust, my walk, but then also just the peace and the contentment that I have in my life. Because it's, you have these ideas and dreams. And yes, when I'm at these 5-figure months, everything's going to be fine. But that's not really true. It's like now I know that even whether or not I'm at a 5-figure month, that I'm doing exactly what I'm meant to be doing, and that everything else, because I am being obedient and surrendering my ways for his, everything else just works out. And the level of just calm I have, the peace. I think it's, again, the peace that passes all understanding, even when things don't make sense, even when your ways aren't submitting to the dreams that you thought you would be at. Like it's so good. It's so good.
I love that. And I hear it's seek first, right? You're seeking first his kingdom, his righteousness. You're forgetting logic and you're operating in wisdom. One of the flows, right? It's not going to always make sense. But on the other side of that, oh, I love the word peace, right? Aren't we all seeking? Don't we all need some more peace? I mean, hello, we all need more peace. So I love that. And so even in that, I think that you made the decision, you did it, and you have this peace. And I know you're ambitious. I know, some of the things we even talked about was doing this, okay, how are you going to help more people learn what you've learned, right? Heal people, transform people. The money mindset is so big in, just in believers. And I think in a lot of Christian women entrepreneurs. And so you're still in between a promise, right? You're still in between that next level, because God wants to take us from glory to glory. So tell us a little bit about how are you helping women right now go from where they are to where they want to be? Tell us a little bit about your coaching and what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I have pivoted several times. And there have been plenty that has not worked. In fact, I coached for 8 years, with basically losing money every year. And it was that experience, that journey that really resonates with others too, because, we do want to help. And sometimes I think we just don't have the systems, the strategies, the tools, again, like you and I said, we have this heart to serve. We just don't know how to do it all. And so right now, I love helping people make sure that they're set up for success, that they're doing the research, the market research, to make sure that they don't launch and then, have no one coming in. I've had several of those experiences where I put my heart and soul and energy into something, and then it just didn't turn out the way I thought it would. And it nearly took me out of coaching. And I actually prayed to God one night. I'm like, take this desire out of my heart. This is not working. And he didn't. And he still had a way to keep me in there. But I don't want that for other women. I want them to know, yes, this is what I am meant to be doing, and just help them walk it out with a whole lot less time and frustration and tears than I dealt with.
I love that. It's like that quote that says, once you come out of the fire, turn around, put your hand back. I'm totally butchering this, but follow along with me. Reach and get the woman who's still in the fire, the one who still knows she's created for more. Yeah. And probably spinning her wheels, whether she's fearing the next step or just doesn't really know what to do. So tell me, do you work primarily with people who don't have a coaching business, or they already do, or maybe a little bit of both?
Yeah, it's those with dreams or possibly a coaching business that is just not where they want it to be. And so, okay, let's set the foundation. Let's do this with God. I mean, everything I do includes him, looking to his guidance, but then also really the tools and the strategies and the systems that combine a very holistic, spirit-led, but systematized process too.
Yes. And I think that's something I struggle with sometimes. I'm like, oh, well, God's in it. Let's do it. But the more I am in business, I'm like, but God is a God of order. God is a God of, he is systematic, right? And so while certain things can happen, supernatural can happen, it doesn't always make sense. I do think we should steward this thing that he's given us well. And so so I guess this is what I want to say to you. If you're listening, if you are a woman and you have this dream on your heart and you're not really sure how to make that like turn into a business, or I've referred to as a business tree. I want to encourage you, go connect with Carrie. She has an awesome Facebook group. And she teaches a lot of, and that's really kind of how we got to know each other. We met online somewhere, again, how social media is awesome. And then I know I was in your group. I'm like, oh, I like this girl. And then got the pleasure of being able to get to know you even better. And so I can't say enough about Carrie and her heart for people, and how she just serves with people first. Really, you are very servant hearted. Tell me about your word of the year. Do you have one?
Yes, it's a continuation from last year because it's really like everything that I need to focus on, and it's Jesus.
I love it.
Yeah, I've never heard of another person having it, but I'm like, I love it. Thank you. This is perfect.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. I don't think I've ever thought of that. Just Jesus, like, hello. Yep. It's so simple and yet everything at the same time.
Right.
I love that. What else? Oh my gosh, you are such a wealth of information. I know you have something coming up. So maybe you want to share that. Tell us a little bit about this challenge that you have coming up.
Yes, would love to invite you and anyone listening into it. It is going to be February 8th starting. And you can go to clientsnowchallenge.com. It is the Get Clarity, Get Clients Challenge. It's 3 days. It's going to be really impactful. I do, everything you need without the fluff. I am just like pouring into you mind, body, and spirit, and would love to have you there. If a coaching business is something that's been on your heart, or just, improving where you're at, would love to invite you in.
Get clarity, get clients. I mean, I'll be there. I think I was just listening to another podcast about this, every next level of you, right? There's like a deeper understanding of, when you have a deeper understanding of you and God, right, then you're called to serve that woman who's just a few steps behind you. So we are on our journey, right? Like, you're a coach, I'm a coach, but I need a coach. You have a coach, right? We work together, and you can teach me things. And so I think every next level of us, it's just that idea, like your client, to have clarity on who you're called to serve, I think is so, it's key. Otherwise, you hear those sayings, if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody, or if you don't niche down. At the same time, I think we can niche down. We can stress about that so much, about niching down, that it can stifle us. But get clarity, get clients. Like, everybody in business needs that. I don't know, honestly, you probably are going to share some stuff that doesn't even necessarily have to be a coach.
Right.
Right. I mean, if somebody wants to sell a protein shake to somebody, they still need to have clarity, on who their person is and how they're serving them and what they have to offer. And you said, when was that? February
8th.
February 8th. All right. So you heard her. Get Clarity, Get Clients Challenge. And what was the website again? I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's clientsnowchallenge.com.
Clientsnowchallenge.com. Awesome. Carrie, what else can you share with the woman who feels stuck? She just feels stuck in where she's at. She knows God's calling her to more. What word of encouragement could you give her today?
Yeah, I felt this for years too. And again, it was Jeremiah 29:11, that God has a plan and a purpose, and that it is good. And just believing that, like, I made a post recently about when I was a single mom and going through cancer and like craziness, losing my house to foreclosure. I had to just start believing this 1% at a time. And then it went up to 2%. And, again, you are here for such a time as this. And it's just uncovering, why that is. And it can be just to be an incredible wife, to be an incredible mom, to love others and radiate God's love. But if you know that you are meant to do, some kind of coaching or more in the world, honestly, I think the number one thing is just to keep increasing and tuning into hearing him, his voice, and deepening your relationship, because he will give it to you. He will show you the way in his perfect timing. So don't like stress out about, oh, I'm not hearing. Again, that was something that happened to me too, but like, just walk it out in deepening your faith and trust in him, and it will come. When you seek it, it's that ask, seek, knock, pray. He wants this for you as well. And just know that it's coming, be expectant, and get excited.
I love it. Thank you, Kari. Thank you so much for spending time with us today, sharing a little bit more about you. Where can people connect with you? Besides, obviously, your challenge, where else can people find you?
Yeah, I hang out quite a bit in my Facebook group, which is the Profitable Christian Coach for women. And also my website is braveabundance.com.
braveabundance.com. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing and hanging out. And I can't wait to hang out with you on the Get Clarity, Get Clients challenge.
Thank you, Heather. You have been such an awesome mentor and friend, made a huge difference in my life and my business. And I'm so grateful.
Truly a blessing. I mean, I know you as a coach know this, but don't you pinch yourself? Like you said earlier, you wake up knowing that you were called to do this. You were meant to do this. Sometimes I'm like, how am I even getting paid to do this? This is so fun to watch people go from, glory to glory and getting to celebrate you and all the successes and just growing in our connection and more sisters and just to iron sharpen iron, right? That's what we're here for. So it's an honor and a blessing. And I cannot wait to see all the promises God has in store for you in this next year.
Thank you.